I am here with my dear friend Buzz the Bee from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. You are going to want to keep a close eye on the weather today, am I right? And let me tell you, it's time now for your local weather report, brought to you by Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Let's buzz on over to the Main Street Media TV Weather Center.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather update.
Well, good Friday morning. Taylor Plott here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center with a look at your latest forecast. Scattered showers and storms can be expected at any given moment during the majority of the day on Friday. As we get towards the 1 o'clock noon hour, early afternoon, widespread showers and storms are expected to be across a good portion of the area. Temperature staying in the 60s, and then another batch could be coming through later on in the evening hours going into early Saturday morning as well. Again, just a pretty good soaking of rain is expected across the area for us on your Friday. Weekend's looking a lot better though. Isolated showers and storms both Saturday and Sunday, and then we get back into the forecast with just again more rounds of showers and storms as we head later on into the beginning of next week, in the middle of next week, with temperatures in the 80s.
Thank you for that update. Tune in each day on Mornings on Main Street for an up-to-date weather report brought to you by Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. All of their contact information is below. Have a great day.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning. Hi, kids. A hot tea, please.
Welcome to Mornings on Main Street. I'm your host, Stefanie Miller. Thanks so much for joining us. Right off this morning, I would love to give you a look at our kickoff for the 2025 Main Street Media Awards. This has been going on for 10 years. However, it's the third year that we've been in Mount Juliet. That is where Main Street Media of Tennessee puts out the Chronicle of Mount Juliet. It was a packed house. I knew it would be as soon as I pulled in the parking lot because it was hard to find a parking place. But how wonderful to see all of our finalists and winners there in the room at the Rutland Place Senior Living, who hosted this event for a third year. Thank you so much. A wonderful morning as we went through all of our categories and reading off the finalists and our winners, which you can see the full Main Street Media Awards from Mount Juliet by going to our Facebook page, Main Street Media of Tennessee. So congratulations to the finalists and to the winners. Our categories included community, service, retail, and food. It was a big year in Mount Juliet. We had 125,000 votes come in a 4-week period. That's the most that we've seen in the 3 years that we've been hosting our awards in Mount Juliet. Again, thank you to everyone who came out for the awards yesterday morning. Next up, we have Lawrenceburg. That is happening on May 8th. This morning on Mornings on Main Street, we connect with a veteran-owned and American-made product. In fact, the headquarters are right here in Middle Tennessee. We sit down with veteran Dean Wegner, the founder and CEO of an apparel brand, Authentically American. And he talks to us not only about getting this business off the ground, but what it was like to be recognized last year as the Tennessee Veteran-Owned Business of the Year. He'll also share how special his product is and how he works to help other veterans. But first this morning, let's get a check of our headlines.
Scammers are taking advantage of the quickly approaching Real ID law deadline by contacting people pretending to be government officials through phishing tactics. You can protect yourself by knowing the facts, being aware of unsolicited contact, verify sources, protect your personal information, and avoid emergent emotional responses. Mount Juliet Police Department K-9 Officer Axel underwent surgery yesterday to repair a torn Achilles tendon received in a car crash on Wednesday. Axel's handler, Police Officer Reese Harper, was not injured. Axel is the police department's newest K-9 team member. He was scheduled to undergo his official certifications next week. The June Lake property, totaling 400 dwelling units in Spring Hill, received approval from the Spring Hill Planning Commission. This gives you an idea here of the 95-acre property that would contain 267 single-family detached units, 52 family units, and 81 townhomes. For a look at these stories and all others from our Middle Tennessee communities, just visit mainstreetmediatn.com.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
Welcome back. This morning, we have a wonderful business feature for you. It is of a veteran-owned business, an American-made product. It's called Authentically American. The headquarters based in Nashville. So right here at home in Middle Tennessee. I am excited to share my interview and sit down with its founder and CEO, Dean Wegner, who is a veteran. He shares with us how this business came to be, how he is giving back to other veterans, and also what it was like to be recognized as the 2024 Tennessee Veteran-Owned Business of the Year.
It was humbling because I knew there were a lot of veteran-owned businesses in the state of Tennessee, but I didn't know there were 8,000. To think that we were the one and only selected last year from 8,000, I mean, I was humbled and incredibly honored being a veteran. And like you, I love to tell stories and love to invest in veterans, and that's what I've tried to highlight to other veterans is, you know what, there's some great resources out there, and the SBA is just one of them. And as part of some of the interview and back and forth is I've had people reach out to me and Dean, tell me more. Tell me more about the story and tell me more about your brand. And I don't have a ton of free time given how busy we are, but when a fellow veteran reaches out and is asking for help, I want to be an entrepreneur at maybe evenings or weekends, but we'll find a time to go ahead and invest and give back and find time to help. To give you an idea how rare American made is, when I graduated from West Point back in 1993, over 50% was made in the US. Today it's 3%. I mean, next to nothing is made here in the US. And that is our real point of differentiation. Everything, is all American made by American workers. There's 2 things we do, and we're relatively small right now, but we do donate 10% of our profit to veteran and first responder charities. But a very intentional choice we made day one is how we price our products. And if you have, X% of your revenue set aside for charitable giving, that's a finite amount. But we have made a very intentional choice. We have 2 pricing tiers. So if you are a for-profit business, whether it's Pepsi, J&J, any Fortune 500 middle market or small business, you're paying full price. If you are a charity or nonprofit, whether you're a veteran or any other type of charity or nonprofit, you're paying at cost. So the difference between those 2, Stephanie, we have helped well over 1,000 charities, build their brand and raise some money in the process. Being a startup, but I entered the military through West Point. And one of the things you do your senior year at West Point, you choose a branch. And I had no idea until arriving at West Point, there's 18 different branches to choose. There's infantry, which is the heart and soul of the Army. There's tanks, field artillery, so all these combat arms. But in all these combat service support, whether it's finance or military police or transportation, and I narrowed the choice down to 2. Number 1 was infantry. And if you want to be a general in the Army, the best path to go is the infantry. That's where most generals come from. But you remember that movie, Stefanie, Top Gun? The first one?
Yes, I do.
That was one of my favorite movies growing up, and I thought, you know what? I would look really cool in a flight suit. And I ultimately ended up choosing the aviation path. But as I was at flight school, I kept wondering, did I make the right choice? And at flight school, the commander made an announcement and said, once in a lifetime opportunity, we're going to have a competition and send one of you to Ranger School. And I thought, Stefanie, well, here's my chance. And I was very fortunate, won that competition, had an opportunity to go to Ranger School, and found out it was miserable. It was absolutely awful. And I didn't know it back then, but it was great training for leading a startup. And here's why: it was no sleep and incredible stress. And that's the life I've been living as an entrepreneur. My Ranger buddy back then was Marine Corps Infantry Sergeant Roy Backey. And the lesson I took away from Ranger School, you know, whether it's being an entrepreneur or other significant challenges you have, I mean, life can be tough. Life can be incredibly difficult, and being a flight suit wearing aviator, I mean, I had no business being there at Ranger School, but, you know, big believer in service and mission, and Roy and I talked day one and said, you know what, we are going to look out for each other. We're going to have each other's back, and we are going to go ahead and graduate together. And we made it, and 30 years later, we still keep in touch. And the lesson I have now is, if you have something incredibly difficult you're going to pursue, don't go it alone. I mean, find that Ranger buddy in life to do it with you. You have asked, you know, interviews before, and we've been blessed with some incredible national media coverage. And the very first time I was on national TV was on Fox and Friends. And what's nice, you know, you're focused on the local market, the state of Tennessee, so this is now a Tennessee resident. And this is not to get political, but this was Pete Hegseth. And just a quick disclaimer, so when it comes to politics, Stefanie, I tell everybody, we're not red or blue. We're red, white, and blue. We believe in the American worker. So this is not a story about politics, but the very first time was invited on national TV was in 2018. It was on Fox and Friends, and I met Pete Hegseth backstage, and I gave him this fun pair of patriotic socks. You know, it's a mismatch. And a year later, I was invited back, and Pete was interviewing me. And he's like, Dean, it is so great to see you again. I still have the socks you gave me. They're my favorite pair. And I said, Pete, please say that on national TV. And this is another one that Pat loves, that I love, that also highlights and reinforces the story around, hey, veteran-owned and American-made is important, but what is truly most important as a consumer brand is delivering an amazing product experience. So Stefanie, have you ever been to the Army-Navy game?
I've not.
I would recommend you put it on your bucket list because it is an incredible experience. But I'm sure you're familiar with the Army-Navy game and what a rivalry it is.
Yes.
So this is one of my favorite t-shirts. If you can see it, it's got the Go Army here. And if you can feel this like you did the socks, feel the fabric.
Oh, nice. That is
Yep,
great.
how incredibly soft and comfortable. And it's not just the fabric. We use a soft hand print to include tagless.
Oh.
But here's something I wanted to highlight with this one, Stefanie. This one has our innovation, our sweat-activated print innovation. So with the Army-Navy rivalry in mind, watch what happens when I spray this. You can see two of my favorite words appear, and in case you couldn't see it in small writing, you can see even bigger. Can you read what that says, Stefanie?
Yes, Beat Navy.
Beat Navy. And here's where I highlight that, you know, similar to Pete Hegseth and the socks, I've literally had people say, Dean, no offense, I don't care where it's made. The shirt is so incredibly soft and comfortable. And when Beat Navy appeared, I mean, that is just amazing. And back to 90% of our revenue being custom, you know, we've created hundreds of designs. So whatever you want printed, whatever you want magically to appear, we can do. And here's what's really neat, because what I love about the technology is it reinforces the value of having a tireless work ethic. So our clients and their custom designs, many of them now will have their values or have their mission statement magically appear, you know, reinforcing the value of hard work.
What's next for this business, this company?
So growth is the #1 word for us, and 90% of our revenue now, Stephanie, is custom. So we work with thousands of businesses. Many of them are in the state of Tennessee, but we should be working with tens of thousands of businesses. And that's why I was so excited to be introduced to you with, your incredible program that you have, because here's a whole new audience now that will have an opportunity to go ahead and hear our story and realize that there is a high quality, American-made, competitively priced option for their business.
Dean, I cannot thank you enough for sitting down with me and sharing the story of how Authentically American came to be and what the future holds. If you would like to learn more about this apparel brand, you can do that by going to authenticallyamerican.us. I'd also like to mention that they choose to honor veterans and first responders by partnering with the Folded Flag Foundation and Reboot Recovery. Stick with us here at Mornings on Main Street. There's a big event happening in Pulaski this weekend and a couple cleanups that you might want to be a part of.
Step into the Lionel retail store at Opry Mills, Nashville, and you'll be captivated by all the magic of the 123-year history of Lionel trains. Whether you're already a train enthusiast or just getting started, Lionel will energize your love for trains. NASCAR fan? Come check out your local Lionel station to learn all there is to know about model trains and die-cast NASCAR collectibles. Visit nashville.lionel.com or call 615-455-9399.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
Welcome back. Rain or shine, the 5th annual Vicki Garland Memorial Powwow will be happening this weekend in Giles County. It is a 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday, at the Giles County Agri Park. It is all to honor Native American culture and traditions. The event raises awareness of the culture of Native Americans and teaches the rest of us about their traditions and the talents of the group. You have Native American dancers that will be out there on Saturday and on Sunday. It's the same group that was there last year. This event is expected to bring out anywhere from 1,000 to about 1,500 people. You'll have food vendors there on hand. The admission is $5 a person, but go out, enjoy, and learn and take in some new culture. Also happening this weekend, you have a couple cleanups. One is there in Pulaski. It is the Keeping Pulaski Clean Day for the 3rd year. Volunteers, if you would like to take part in this, you're asked to be at the courthouse gazebo at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. You'll have all the supplies that you need right there. Then you also have the Great American Cleanup Kickoff happening in Montgomery County and Clarksville, also meeting and starting there at the courthouse. It is a wonderful time. I've done this in the past. They have all the items that you need. And if you'd like to volunteer for this, you're asked to be there at 9 in the morning on Saturday. Also, don't forget, you have the St. Jude Rock and Roll Running Series happening in Nashville on Saturday morning. Runners will start at 6:20. You have the 5K and 10K kicking off at that time. You have the half marathon and full marathon runners getting going about 7:30. So just know, if you are in downtown Nashville and you're driving, you're going to have 25,000 plus participants out on the streets on Saturday morning. So maybe either stay in or come out and cheer your runners, joggers, walkers, and those participating in this marathon. Cheer them on, or just come be a part of the excitement and hear some of the 25 plus musicians and artists that will be out there along the course. Thanks so much for joining us right here. Have a great and safe weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.